Yahoo Sports recent mock draft had the Detroit Pistons drafting Scoot Henderson at 2, and everybody's favorite local kid, Emoni Bates, at 33, per Kristen Peak. So, man, dude, how do you feel about this mock draft? I mean, we kind of both have already expressed, our love for Scoot Henderson as a player. But how do you
Hmm.
like this mock draft?
I will say, Kristen Peak has the biggest balls out of any NBA reporter, NBA draft reporter I've ever seen.
Okay.
She will put out some mocks where I don't agree with it, but we're talking about it right now,
Yeah.
right? I think Scoot it too. I think would probably be a consensus pick if Victor's won. Some people would argue you could put Amin Thompson there. Some people could argue you could even put Brandon Miller at 2 if you wanted to. But as you go down to the second round, you see Emoni Bates, 33 for Detroit. Now, I don't know if you saw, but there was a piece, I believe, by NBA Central, and scouts are saying Emoni Bates' draft stock is anywhere between 20th to 40th,
Yeah.
kind of around that range. If you can get Emoni Bates in the second round, I'm not really that mad. Because I think one thing with him is the kid can score the basketball,
Yeah.
and you need scores on your team. And speaking of scores, which I don't know if you saw the other night, no Kyrie Irving, Cam Thomas dropped a cool 44 points.
I saw that. Almost picked them up in fantasy. Almost picked them up in fantasy for that game.
Cam Thomas was a late first round pick, I believe, or early second. I don't remember 100%. But I think Emoni Bates can have that same kind of effect in the NBA. Yeah, there's some off the court issues that some Pistons fans don't like. They don't like that, he's kind of steered in the wrong direction. And some people blame his father for his, I don't want to say his issues he's had off the court, but he does have some influences that would kind of, I don't know, maybe as a Pistons fan, you kind of take pause when you're thinking about drafting him. But I mean, the talent's there for me. I think if you can get him in the second round, it's a good draft pick. He's a local kid. He can score. And I've even seen Troy at some EMU games. So Troy has been scouting him. So would not be surprised if we saw him in a pre-draft workout for the Pistons.
I mean, I definitely think the Pistons should do their due diligence on Imani Bates, like any team should. Like he could definitely score the ball. You guys know how I feel about Scoot Henderson. The dude's a dog. You can see him in the graphic right below Anthony's name. I mean, that dude, that's a face that says I don't give a fuck about nothing but basketball. So Scoot Henderson, he's my favorite. I mean, if Victor Wembanyama was in this class, he goes number one. I do feel like though, and maybe I'm wrong, this might be a hot take. I feel like Scoot Henderson might drop in the draft. I feel like teams, there's going to be some guys that they're more impressed with because they're like a flash in the pan. They're going to like really pique some interest by some teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if Scoot Henderson fell out of 2. It would not surprise me at all. You guys have heard me talk about Imani Bates as well. I'm not in love with the kid. Like 6'8", 6'7", somewhere around there. Decent handle. He's a great college scorer. I think he averaged like 40 a game when he was in 8th grade. The dude can score the ball. I don't know what else he gives you more other than that. Outside of scoring, what does he give you as a player? Because, dude, you know just as well as I do, Anthony, no team is drafting a guy in the second round and saying, hey, man, go get me buckets and you be the guy. Like, nobody does that with the second round pick. You know what I'm saying? So it happens in some cases, like Nikola Jokic, like you see he became an MVP, but draft him in the second round. They weren't expecting that. So Imani has to show me more than him being able to score the ball. I know he can do that. He did average less than 10 at Memphis. Harder competition, I guess. Goes to EMU, starts doing that draft stock. Doesn't have great blow-by speed, so he relies on his jump shot a lot. Not a great athlete by pro baller standards, and he's not very explosive. So, I mean, I don't know. This might sound kind of weird, but I think he's closer to Adam Morrison than the generational talent he once was pegged.
Yeah, I know a lot of people probably aren't going to like to hear that. They're not going to like to hear
Yeah.
that Adam Morrison comp, but I've been watching more games of him lately
Yeah.
because I'm like, I said, I got to do my homework. I got to watch some tape on the kid, and I can see what scouts see. And
Okay.
that's why I mentioned Cam Thomas, because Cam Thomas does a lot of what Emoni Bates does to the point where like he just looks to score. He doesn't really look to pass. He's just a scorer. And I think that's what Emoni Bates will be at the next level. He's just going to be a certified bucket. He's just going to be one of those guys that's off of your bench that can give you a cool 15 every night. Like, that's what I think his NBA career will be. Him just kind of being like in that Jamal Crawford type of tier where you're just looking for him to get you buckets. You're not looking for him to distribute the offense. You're not looking for him to be a lockdown defender. You're just looking for him to score the basketball. And I think that's one thing that he's elite at.
But even Cam Thomas, the guy you're making a comparison to, he only averages 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. I mean, he shoots great percentages, 46, 40, and 80% from the line. But I mean, outside of the 8 points per game, like, you know, and I like Cam Thomas. I think he's a good player, but everybody in the NBA can score. It's like, what else can you do for me that makes you last in this NBA? Because for all we know, in 2 years, Cam Thomas could be over in China dropping 50. Like, we've seen plenty of guys like Cam Thomas come to the NBA, have a good couple years, show some stuff. But even there's a reason Mac McClung is in the G League. Like, yeah, he can score, but not every team is looking for a guy to give 25 because not everybody can do that in the NBA efficiently. Like, there's a reason there's guys like Kevin Durant, you know, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, those guys that are the top earners because they can do a little bit of everything. Guys like Emoni Bates, they come in, they probably show something, but it's all about it has to be more, man. Like, it has to be more than scoring with Emoni. I just don't see him coming into the NBA and, you know, just scoring at will like he does at Eastern Michigan. I just don't see it.